Yo, what up? What's poppin'? Back at it again with another video for y'all. I just wanna I just wanna chat with y'all, and this is another video about hip hop. I just wanna chat with y'all because I know some of y'all wonder what was like the best era for hip hop. Some of y'all wonder, what year, like what era was like hip hop in its truest form. Was it like in the 80s, the 90s, or the 2000s? I just want to chat with y'all, and feel free to chat with me. Feel free to engage with me. Feel free to drop me a comment in the comment section. And again, I'm not a debater. I don't debate. Let's just have a discussion about this. But if you ask me which era was the best era for hip hop, I feel like the 90s was the best era for hip hop. I mean, in the 90s, hip hop was pretty much in its truest form. I mean, back in the 90s when a rapper, was like caught rapping on the streets, that was pretty much one of the ways to get yourself out there as a rapper. Like like the 90s was before social media. The 90s was before SoundCloud, Spotify, YouTube. Like the 90s was back when you had to actually go to a record store to go buy like a new album or to buy like a vinyl. But you see now these days, like certain retailers like Best Buy, they don't really like carry CDs. Like now these days everything is digital now these days. You got streaming platforms, you got Spotify, you got Apple Music. Now with some artists, and most of these artists are like independent artists, with some artists don't have all of their albums on Spotify because like with streaming platforms, like if they feel like the album is too controversial, if they feel like the album is like too political or like too conscious, sometimes they won't even let the artist put it out on streaming platforms. Because I know with Loza Alexander, and some a lot of y'all probably never even heard of Loza Alexander, but you should check him out. Loza Alexander is a pretty dope artist. I like his stuff. Like Loza Alexander, he released a new album called Triggered Music, but the thing about it is that his new album is not on streaming platforms because they feel that like he's being too controversial, he being too raw, and that's how it is. That's the reason why Loza Alexander is independent. Like some of these independent artists, they put out their new albums on their website and stuff. And just like with Tom MacDonald, Tom MacDonald recently he released two new albums and they're on his website. You know what I mean? See, that's how it is. Like, and you see, if Tom MacDonald was to try to release both of the albums on streaming platforms, they probably wouldn't even let him because of the fact that he's so controversial and raw. But yeah, the 90s was the best era for hip hop. Like, the 90s was when hip hop was in its truest form. The 90s was when you actually had to have talent to get yourself out there as an artist. But when it comes down to these other eras of hip hop, I feel that there's no other era that can beat the 90s. Yeah, the 80s hip hop can't beat the 90s era. The early to mid 2000s. But I mean the early to mid 2000s, I mean hip hop, I mean mumble rap. I would say mumble rap like became invented like around probably maybe around 2005, 2006, 2007. Because like I said, there was a point of in time where when it came down to hip hop in like the 2000s, like I would say like maybe like around 2009 to 2010, 2011, 2012. Because I know like in 2009, like Asher Roth, he came out with his debut album, Asleep in the Bread album. He came out with his hit song, I Love College. Like Asher Roth was dope. like Asher Roth, he was a white rapper. Like there was a point of in time where it seemed like when it came down to white rappers, like white rappers were the ones that were spitting, and then the black rappers were mumbling. But yeah, the 90s was the best era for hip hop. Yeah, there's no other era that can beat the 90s. But again, my fellow hip hop fans, my fellow music lovers, let's chat about this. Let's have a discussion. What era was the best era for hip hop? I feel the 90s was the best era. Don't forget, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell on my channel, comment, share, like the video. And again, my gospel record, I Can Do All Things Through Christ. It's on my YouTube channel and it's also on my SoundCloud. You can follow me on SoundCloud at Wally G. Let's run it up. Let's blow it up. Love y'all.